morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning. I hope everybody has recovered from yesterday's big news and everything going on. But there's more, ladies and gentlemen. And Harry is not the only one being dragged. Meghan is being dragged too. So we have all of that, plus the royal family news, because of course they're hardworking. So let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off today with King Charles. He held an investiture at Windsor Castle. This is his 7th of 2026 and the 26th investiture of the royal family for 2026. I think the king looks great. Obviously, riding in a tank agrees with him. Now we're going to move on to the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. Now, they were joint patrons of the Gloucester Cathedral In Tune Music and Organ Campaign. And then they got the organ, so they attended a dedication service for the new organ on July 5th. The organ was designed and built by Nicholson and Company and housed in this gorgeous, beautifully restored 17th century organ case, and it has fabulous craftsmanship, modern engineering, and it's going to sound beautiful. You know, when you realize that people in generations are going to be listening to it, it's fabulous. All right, let's move on now. We have the Prince and Princess of Wales parents, Michael and Carol Middleton. They attended day 9 of the Wimbledon Tennis Championships at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. And also spotted walking in was Princess Margaret's daughter, Lady Sarah Chatto, and her son-in-law, Daniel Chatto, again, day 9 of the events. You know, it's nice to see her. You don't see this woman that much, you know. You see her at a family wedding or at a, specific gathering, but she lives a nice, quiet life. She's a non-drama person, which is something I really like about her. Now, also seen at the tennis that day was Sir Clive Alderton, His Majesty's Principal Private Secretary, Benedict Cumberbatch, and his wife, Sophie Hunter. Everybody looked great. Move on now to Queen Camilla. You guys might not know, it's been 100 years since the first Winnie the Pooh books were published by playing Pooh sticks at the site which inspired the 100-acre wood. Unbelievable when you think about that. Just so you know, Pooh Sticks is a game featured in the book The House at Pooh Corner, where players drop a stick into the river from the upstream side of a bridge. The owner of the stick that first floats out on the downstream side wins. And so they were there at the Ashdown Forest, which is the fictional home of the book's character Winnie the Pooh, and they were actually there on the same bridge where this author played with his son, who was named Christopher Robinson. And as patron of the Royal Literary Fund, the Queen is visiting that forest to mark, again, the 100 years since the publication of the book in 1926. Now, Ashdown Forest is located 48 kilometers south of London in East Sussex, and the Queen's visit came right after Harry landed in the UK. The Queen even stopped at Piglet's house and they put out this fabulous video. Watch this. Yeah, so this happened on July 7th. Good for her. Love the cake. Ooh, that looks good. And of course, we have our beautiful fashion parade showing everything that everybody was wearing. A big thank you to Carol M and to Remoulade Sauce for all of this information. Time to move on. All right, we are going to move on now to Prince William. He made a surprise public appearance in London just hours after the whole case. He visited a school, I'm going to try to say it. It's the London Welsh School in Hanwell, but it's pronounced Ysgol Gymraeg Llundain. Ooh, okay. So he met teachers and students while wishing Team Wales ahead of the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games, which, by the way, begin later this month. And of course, William and Catherine shared a series of photos and videos from the visit on their Instagram account. He really appeared to be in good spirits. He was widely smiling. He was playing games with the campus children. Okay, I don't think that he's so petty as to think, well, Harry lost his case and here I am doing my work. But it seems a little coinkadinkle. That's the only thing I know to say. For those of you who don't know who that guy in the costume was, that was Finny, the official Glasgow 2026 mascot. Apparently he fist bumped him. No, people are saying that showed William's true colors because he appeared genuinely joyful and relaxed among those people around him. And it looks like everybody was having a really good time. FYI, this school was founded in 1958. It is a bilingual Welsh-English primary school for children ages 3 to 11 and the only Welsh medium primary school outside of Wales. This school William was at was only 11 miles away from where Harry was. 11 miles, that's it. But even though they were both in London, it has come out, and I have no doubt about this, that the brothers had no plans to meet or communicate whatsoever. I really can't blame William at this point for not wanting to talk to his brother. Can you really? I mean, my goodness. I'm glad the royal family decided they were just going to ignore Harry and do their work and let their work speak for itself. I think that's a good strategy. All right, moving on. We are Invictus. Put up some pictures where Harry tries to look so, I don't know, like he's actually doing something. Apparently, the Invictus Games Foundation had a conversation about policies and practices, and they were highlighting how the Invictus movement is driving lasting change beyond the games. Uganda is joining, and international ministers for veteran affairs were outlining long-term impact of membership, blah, 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 trying to make it look like Harry was actually doing something. All right, I have to touch on this topic again because everybody's talking about the fact that Harry is not staying at Buckingham Palace. He rejected the invitation to stay on Saturday morning after the offer had been on the table for months and the king was being tested beyond endurance. The U-turn came after Friday's deadline passed. He couldn't make up his mind. Staff needed for his stay were allocated elsewhere. Then, of course, he changed his mind and turned around. So what they're saying is the king wants to be a loving father. He wants to be a grandfather, but he's being pushed beyond endurance. He's not willing to be pushed around. He's not willing to indulge a constant state of chaos. And sources close to Harry even are questioning now if the offer was genuine. Remember, I told you that yesterday. The king's constitutional position cannot appear compromised. The king knew that Harry's case was coming out, and I'm glad that the king decided to put his foot down and say enough of this. I don't know what Harry was expecting. 6 years of disrespect to his family, 6 years of griping about his family, and yet the king is the one who's being attacked for not caving at the last minute to, Harry's demands. This is not a Holiday Inn. This is not a small little hotel. This is Buckingham Palace. This is the seat of the British monarchy. Get a grip, people. Let me just tell you, you can love your children without, giving in and giving them every single thing that they ask for. Sometimes space is a healthy thing. Now, as far as Harry's case goes, the truth is the outcome of this case should never have been in doubt. Legal cases are won on the basis of facts, not emotions. But Harry has shown time and time again that he's not capable of recognizing the truth, even when it smacks him in the face. Those he was close to would never leak stories about him, right? That's what he told the court even though he had previously accused friends of doing exactly that, and text messages showed he knew this was happening. He claimed he cut off all contact with a woman when he found out she was a journalist, even though Facebook messages show that that also was untrue. He would not share information about the love of his life with strangers, he insisted, only for this to be disproved by his own autobiography. Harry's courtroom testimony and the fact that the legal case burnt through his estimated $50 million in lawyers' fees suggests that Harry is not merely dumb, but he has an overinflated sense of his own importance. It's not that Harry doesn't know what's true and what's not. It's just the truth is far less important than getting his own way. He is self-entitled enough to expect journalists and judges and the legal system and the press to bend to his will. He may be a spoiled brat, but he was encouraged to engage in this expensive, time-wasting litigation. People that are associated with Hacked Off. For those who don't know, that is a campaign group founded by Hugh Grant to curtail freedom of the press. And in delivering the ruling, the judge even said that Hacked Off advisor Dr. Evan Harris was dishonest for a plan he cooked up to hide the fact that one of the cases put before the court was beyond the statute of limitations. Now, if things had gone Harry's way, he'd be celebrating a victory for money, influence, and titles, and he hoped to do that inside Buckingham Palace. But of course, the king already put the kibosh on that plan. You know, we've heard from Harry and Meghan all this toing and froing and will they and won't they, and they offered up the grandchildren only to withdraw the offer when they weren't going to get the bells and whistles security that they wanted. They accepted and then rejected the offer of rooms at Buckingham Palace, and then Harry changed his mind again when he realized that the royal surroundings would make a suitable backdrop for what he thought would be a victory speech. Good on Charles for acting like a sensible parent and turning down the last-minute requests and putting a stop to the whole circus. So now Harry is heading off to Birmingham for the Invictus Games soon, and he's going to be in search of the one remaining reporter that's prepared to offer a positive spin on everything he's doing. And good luck with that. Nicole Lambert wrote a piece talking about, she was involved in the case. She said, I was being questioned by a desperate barrister, and he was suggesting I had hacked the police to find out how much it was costing to secure Elton John's wedding. She said it was clear just how much the case brought by Harry and 6 others was built on sand. She said she always knew the evidence against the paper was weak. It relied on testimony from a convicted fraudster, and it depended solely on the fact that private investigators had been used. But she said she never really expected to end up in court, but she did just weeks after burying her father. The thing that really got her was convincing Baroness Lawrence to be part of the action. Harry was absolutely a key part of it. They were determined to hit the Daily Mail where it hurt most, the paper's murders front page about the men accused of killing her son, which that's one of the paper's proudest moments. It was a cynical move. Unlike the other millionaires who were part of the pact, she was unlikely to have this spare money to help pay for the costs. Talking about Doreen Lawrence, Mr. Lawrence, it's come out, is appalled and dumbfounded when he learned that his ex-wife, Baroness Doreen Lawrence, had been lured into the plot to destroy the newspaper, and with it, the distinguished reputation of the journalists who had done so much to help his family. And as someone who prizes loyalty, he regards her decision as the lowest form of betrayal. Why did she turn against the Daily Mail? Why did she do it with such apparent willingness to accept at face value the destructive claims leveled against them? He said, she may think she has a unique place in high society, but I don't have anything to do with those kinds of people. I'm just an ordinary person. I'm not interested in lords and ladies. Some people have ambitions, but not me. They drifted apart after the murder. They divorced in 1999. He still has a good relationship with their daughter. An FYI, Miss Lawrence had their son dug up and moved somewhere else without telling his father. Yeah, that's not cool. Now, the ex-husband said some people think she wanted to be part of the British establishment, so maybe that's it. Maybe she's just jealous. Who knows? Because they still have a relationship. This man still has a relationship with the paper. Maybe she resents that he's talking to them, but he says, I don't talk to her anymore. I have a great relationship with the Mail. It's been everything to me, and I don't understand why she would turn on the people who help their case the most. Oh, I agree. David Brown was actually in the courtroom, and he said you had a man that wanted to unburden a lifetime of resentment at his birthright. Rewind in court how being forced to do royal duties meant he was forced to perform for journalists at official events. He also said that Gavin Burrows appeared by video link because he feared for his safety, and if anything, it symbolized the absurdity of much of the proceedings because he was at an office with a lawyer seated next to him who lists the address on the firm's website. So much for, safety. This case really was the big case, the one that he blames above all others for the hounding of his mother and the persecution of his wife. He beat the Mirror in 2023. He won $188,000 in damages and extracted an apology plus an 8-figure settlement from Rupert Murdoch's news group in January of 25. So in his opinion, the Mail was the last dragon and the one that he really wanted to get. And instead, the Mail fought, the only one of the three that refused to fold. They won on everything. And let me tell you, they will spend the rest of their life reminding Harry of it. He's had 3 problems. Number 1, the star witness crumbled. The supporting cast didn't do well, and then Harry got into the witness box because the entire architecture of the case rested on Gavin Burrows, the PI, whose 2021 witness statement claimed he'd been commissioned by the Mail to hack and blag his way through the claimants' lives. But then he took the stand and testified that that statement was incorrect. He never worked for the Mail's titles, and the statement bearing his name had been fabricated and his signature forged. Now, Nicklin repeatedly pressed David Sherborne, the attorney for Harry, on what would be left of the case if that statement fell. So that was this star witness that collapsed. Then you had all these other people that got up on the stand. One allegation was that the Mail commissioned a burglary against Lady Lawrence. That was struck out before the trial even started. Then Harry got on the stand. It was supposed to be his moment of vindication, and it turned into a case study in why his lawyers might have wanted him to stay home. He was bullish, sarcastic, arrogant. What else would you expect? But we all know the moment that came that really sunk Harry's case, and that was Charlotte Griffith of the Mail on Sunday's editor-at-large, because she came out with all of the messages that they had sent back and forth. Harry was addressed as Mr. Mischief. He called her sugar and griff and signed off with moi, with kisses, and complained about having to beg strangers for charity money over dinner and lamented missing our movie snuggles. Yeah, that's pretty much what tanked the case. So Harry flew home for a week of worthy engagements and possible reconciliation, and instead he got a snub over his accommodations, a self-inflicted fight over his first night photo op with Meeson Harriman, and now a total courtroom defeat by the newspaper he hated most on the world, delivered on British soil with his family absent and the world watching. People are pointing out that he's far from being able to carve out that progressive new role within the institution. He can't even muster a bed at an empty palace for the night. Harry doesn't understand it. He probably never will. He is now faced with a legal bill of millions of pounds while attacking the crown judges, I might add. In the meantime, his brother was, enjoying the bread and butter of royal life. And his father was in meetings all day and aides going through his diary of event. And, Catherine's been out and about. This is the life he has is a far cry from what he actually wanted. He's banned from his father's house. He lost a court case worth millions. He's been denied the security he's battled for 6 years to have. And he may have to realize that his battles against each and every one must finally come to an end. Because let's face it, he's got nothing else to battle. He's lost it all. Everybody's talking about this. Even Pippa's sister-in-law, she was on Loose Women, and she said it seems whenever Harry is coming back into the country, there's a massive amount of drama. She says, contrast that to the royal family who travel all over the world all the time without generating comparable levels of, just crap. Now, Justice Nicklin had something to say about the Daily Mail reporters. Rebecca English was praised by the judge as an impressive and honest witness. Charlotte Griffiths was characterized by the judge as impressive. Paul Henderson found to be a truthful witness whose oral evidence was noted for its consistency and credible way of demonstrating a professional focus on investigative journalism. Alison Boshoff was praised for being straightforward and a candid witness. Stephen Wright gave truthful and honest evidence. Richard Kay was an honest witness who did his best to assist the court in relation to a short diary item published more than 20 years ago. Caroline Graham was found to be credible and honest, who gave her evidence in a direct manner. Sam Greenhill was an honest witness, and he accepted his evidence. I'm sure all these articles are chapping Harry's ass, but this one is killing him because according to Christy Allsop, who's a British TV presenter, she said in about 12 years' time, Archie and his sister will come of age and will bitterly resent having their British heritage and relationships with the extended family like cousins George, Charlotte, and Louis taken away from them, which essentially it was. They've lost it all. They're also going to be mighty upset that they lost the chance to have a relationship with their grandfathers on both sides. Those children are probably going to write a book. Now, don't forget, you guys, we're also waiting for the U.S. State Department to release thousands of pages of documents concerning Harry's visa records following the successful Freedom of Information lawsuit brought by the Heritage Foundation. Their record details how Harry's immigration status and past drug administration are discussed in government circles. I'm looking forward to this. When you get down to it, Harry's lost everything. He lost his family. His country hates him. He lost all of his military appointments. He's lost millions in these ridiculous lawsuits. And this all happened after he met his wife. So what does that tell you? Marry in haste, repent in leisure. The right wife is crucial to your life. And Harry married badly. While all of this is going on, again, in a ridiculous attempt to pull the attention, Meghan Markle is putting up social media posts for as ever, and people are saying it's giving them Temu vibes. It's so basic. It's so stupid. It's so amateurish. It's very obvious, as I've said before, that she has run out of money and she's doing this stuff herself. Yeah, it's just not working. I really want your thoughts on everything that's happened. I really want to know what you think. So put those comments down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my father's book, which remains up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.